Good afternoon, good morning. I would like to thank you all for joining in today's presentation on Word 2010. We do have a full session today, so we're just waiting for everybody to join in. Great, now I'm going to pass the mic over in host role to Benny, who's going to facilitate the session for you today.
Laura, for that. So as Laura said today, what we will be looking at is Microsoft Word. This is actually 2010, and we will be looking at a couple of points. We do have 45 minutes together, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I will try and squeeze all that in there so that at least you can take something to your desk with you that will help you be a little more efficient than you presently are in Microsoft Office Word. Okay? So what we will be covering, first of all, of course, creating a document from a template. We'll begin, of course, with creating a blank document. How do I create a blank document? How do I even open up templates? Why should I use templates in Word? Navigating a Word document. How do I navigate to see all the different components of my Word document? Adding, selecting text. Some of this stuff might seem a bit basic for some of you on the call. However, throughout the session, I will be giving a couple of tips here and there on how I create my documents. I've been training with CTC Train Canada for the last 3 years. Applications training is something I love a lot. My background is in engineering, so a lot of what I do at my desk is always, hey, how can I be more efficient at this? So I will be giving you tips every now and then just to kind of show you how I would do something. Maybe that might help you shave off some time on that 1-minute task that you sometimes do, okay? Down to like 45 seconds or whatever. Okay, so I'll show you the different parts of the interface of the application. So you have the Backstage View, you have the ribbon, you have shortcut keys, and all the different screen tips that we get from the application. How do I become a better user of the application? By getting hints from the application itself. Is it possible to do that? So I will be showing you that. Using the Contextual Tab, formatting with the Mini-Toolbar, font and paragraph dialog boxes, using the quick style gallery, using bullets and numbering, adding a border and shading to a certain paragraph that I want to maybe emphasize. Is it possible to do that? Customizing the quick access toolbar. So as I'm reading all this stuff, some of the different components or the different terminology that is used by Word might be a little odd for us because we're going quick, or the different terminology that is used by Word might be a little odd for us because we're going quick access toolbar. Which one is this? Is that one? There's so many toolbars in the application. So I will be making sure I'm not making any assumptions. Anything that I talk about, I will make sure to explain. And as Laura did say in the beginning, if at all you do have any questions, feel free to type them out in the chat area. If there is time permitting, I will get to those questions. If not, you will be getting an email with the answers to your questions. Okay? So anyway, what we have in store for us today, just these bullet points that we have here. We'll jump right into it because 45 minutes is a short time. All right, so opening up my Word application, of course, we always start with my Start menu, and then I go ahead and open up the Word application. I already have Word up here. This shows me that this is a recently used application. If it wasn't recently used and I want to have it pinned to my task menu, I can. So you can pin it to your task menu, your Start menu, your taskbar at the bottom, or you can pin it to your desktop and create a shortcut. Again, I'm all about efficiency. Why not shave off time of that task of trying to look for the actual application? Where is it? All programs, okay, Microsoft Office. There's so many of them here. Which one is it? Right, this takes me quite some time. But again, if you pin it onto your desktop or onto your taskbar or even onto your Start menu, it is easily accessible, shaves off some time of that task of actually finding the application. So I've opened up this document. This document is called Books and Beyond. So what we need to do is, first of all, talk about creating a new blank document. So in my case, I've already opened up an existing document, but normally what would happen is when you open up the application, it opens up at this page, blank document, brand spanking new, nice and fresh. You can then start typing out stuff on it, right? So I can type out whatever it is, whatever heading, title, and so forth, starting off from a blank document. How would I open up a template? Why should I even open up a template? Why not be original and create all my own stuff? Templates are really good in that me not being the best user out there, I'm not a pro at Word. I'm still trying to use these applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever application it is. I'm still trying to use it, get familiar with it. Why not find out what the Word gurus are doing out there? What type of documents are the Word gurus producing? Those professionals out there who really have nice, clean documents, can I emulate that standard and produce the same? Yes, I can. But how would I know their standard? By pulling up a template. So a template really will walk me through the steps of, okay, you know what, Tabani, you want to create a flyer. You want to create maybe a budget. You want to create a resume. Whatever it is that you want to create, how about Microsoft Office and all their gurus, how about they give me tips on what type of a document I have to have as an end result? Okay, so again, I'm not that much of a pro. I've never used this application much, but let me pull up a template. So I go to my Backstage menu. If you notice, I've pressed File. So File, that's my Backstage menu. So the Backstage menu allows me to save as, open, close, and so forth, all these different things here. Protect my document, check for issues. What if I wanted to run Document Inspector? I want to inspect my document for maybe comments and things like that. Is it possible? That is all possible in my Backstage menu, right? I'm not liking the way this is got a gray background. Can I change the view of that? I fix that in the Backstage menu. So with my Backstage menu, which is that File tab, that's where you get the options. You have the options dialog box. If ever you wanted to change the way in which Word actually runs, general, display, proofing, anytime I have a spelling error or anytime I have a lowercase first letter of any text, what Word will do is automatically change that first letter from lowercase to uppercase because it's the first letter in the sentence. Why does Word do that? Because of proofing options. So all these options, language advanced, customized, ribbon, and so forth, you can change them in the Backstage menu. So this is my Backstage menu. The reason why we're here is because we wanted to open up a new template. So I'll go into New, click New, not a new blank document, but a new template. So the pros have created these documents and said, well, Tabani, what we're going to do is give you a stencil, give you a format which you can use to follow. So let me go ahead and pull up any random one here. I'll pull up brochures and booklets. So our company is having a career fair coming up, and I've been assigned with the task of creating a brochure. So all I do is go to the category, brochure, and click that. There's so many different categories there, right? Newsletters, plans and proposals, reports. What are other people doing for their reports? Maybe I can emulate that standard and produce something that doesn't show that I'm a new user at this application. So I'll pull up a brochure, open up that folder, and I have all these different options here. Business brochure, level design. So if you notice, there's a three-fold format there for that one. Is that what I want? Do I want one that I can fold into three and maybe have it as a handout? Do I want one that's an 11 by 17, 2 pages? What type of view am I going for? Business brochure, So you have all these different options. All templates will look something similar to this, where you have maybe a resume. Okay, I want to pull up a resume template. Do I have those? Resume and CVs, right? Basic resume, job specific, situation specific resumes, and so forth. So there's all those different resumes there. So the category that we went into was brochures. Open up the folder, and I'll pick a random one. I will pick, let's go for the first one here, I guess. So how do I open up that template? You have the option of double clicking it or clicking it to select it and hit download. So the resume, the brochure, so that's not a resume, that's a brochure. So the brochure has downloaded here, and this is what Word gives me as a template. And now it says, okay, Tadani, on your first page, you're going to put this company name. Make sure you put your company name here. What do I get? Look at that. When I click company name, I get dotted lines around company name. These guys here are called placeholders. What are they doing? They are holding the place of something that you're going to insert or something that was inserted. In this case, a text box was inserted. How do I know a text box was inserted? Because I look at this guy up here. This is called your contextual tab. So on our outline, we do have that contextual tab, which is what I'm going to talk about now. A contextual tab only appears when you're in a certain context. So the context that I'm in right now is that of a text box. That's why when I click this text box, I get the text box contextual tab. Tabani, wasn't that tab already there? Okay, how about this? Let's get out of the text box context by clicking the white area. I don't have a contextual tab anymore. So that tab only appears when you're in a certain context. What is this playing? Let me click it and find out. I don't know what it is, but I get a placeholder. Ah, this is a picture. How do I know? Because my contextual tab says picture tools, right? So whatever component you have in here, if you are not too sure, what is this? How did they do this? They used the text box because my contextual tab says so. Okay, how do they do this line? They created this little line here. What is that? I think that's really cool. So again, I'm taking this template and I'm saying, maybe I might not end up using this, but maybe I might create my own. So I need to know the different components that have been used to actually create this template. So that line that looks like it has somewhat of a gradient or variation in colors, how did they create that? If I click it, I get my contextual tab up there, drawing tools. Okay, so we've looked at a couple of different contexts here. You have, of course, the text box tools, you have the picture tools, and just to give you a bit of a heads up, anything that you insert will get contextual tab, like a chart, like a table, like smart art graphics. Anything that you insert will give you a contextual tab. What is the purpose of a contextual tab? Contextual tab allows me to modify whatever has been inserted. So let's go for company name. So for company name, I'm using a template here. I'm going to change this company name to CTC Train Canada. And I do want a small c there. Okay, CTC Train Canada. I get the squiggly red line, obviously, because that's a word that is not recognized by Word. So I'm going to go ahead and ignore, or alternatively, add it to my dictionary. Okay, so this is how I'm using templates. Anywhere where I have a placeholder, I can basically modify whatever's held by that placeholder. Okay, so right now we had a company name in there. I've changed the company name. I've typed out my company name, CTC Train Canada. Now, let's get back to my contextual tab. What does my contextual tab allow me to do? It allows me to modify whatever context I'm in. Let's go into the contextual tab, which is the format tab. Look at that. I have text box style. So that means I can actually apply a certain style to this text box. The text box was blank. In other words, it just had no fill to it. It had a white background. Can I fill it in with a certain color? Look at that. All I'm doing is hovering my mouse over the different placeholders. Some of them have that three-dimensional look to them, okay? So I have a whole list of different placeholders there. So again, what I'm not going to consider is what are my company colors. Okay, so what color do I want this to be? You know what? I'm not liking these colors. Not too, they're not the type of blue I want. I want a really dark blue. None of these are dark blue. Can I change the fill color of this text box? Yes, I can. So notice what I did here. I said, can I change the fill color? Because I know the terminology that Microsoft Word uses, I'm able to look for, or rather, I'm able to find what I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for is the fill, the shape fill. I'm not looking for a highlight. Because normally, in English, I would call it a highlight. I'm reading a book, I highlight a couple of things in the book. So I call it, my inclination is to call it a highlight. But I will not call it a highlight because it's actually a fill within a box. So that's why they call it fill color as opposed to highlight, which is just on a sentence. Okay. So shape fill, I want to change this to my particular version of a blue. So my really dark blue. So I'll change it to that dark blue there. Do you notice something? What color was my text? Black. But the moment I change it to a really dark color, my text has changed to white. Okay. So anytime you're using your contextual tab, the contextual tab will make life easy for you in that way, where things automatically change. I didn't have to change this color from black to white. It automatically changed, right? So if I did want to change it, I want my text, my font to be yellow, I can go for that. Okay? So that's my contextual tab. So many things that you can do with your contextual tab. Always look at the group names. So I do have group names. Which ones are the group names? In my ribbon up there, the group names are text, text box styles, shadow effects, arrange, size. These are all group names. Every tab in the ribbon is divided up into groups. There's the format tab, my contextual tab, divided up into groups. Text, text box styles, and so forth, right? So anything I select will give me a contextual tab as long as I've inserted that, right? So I can go into shadow effects. What's that? So shadow effects, again, what am I modifying? I'm modifying the text box. Notice how I have a shadow there in the background. Okay? So the different contextual tabs that we have are based on whatever it is that you click. Okay? So working with a template just means I can modify components of that template as long as I have the understanding of how I can use the text box, or rather how I can use the contextual tab to my advantage. I can go ahead and play around with that. So even if it's a picture, can I change picture tools? Can I change the brightness of the picture? Yes. Can I recolor the picture, maybe to a black and white shade, or maybe grayscale, right? So you can choose grayscale. Now notice how my picture has been grayscaled. How did I change it? By going into my contextual tab. So there's my template. There's again that placeholder there. The placeholder is, what is it holding? It's holding a text box. So I can change this to whatever it is that I type in there. Modify this, make it look like my own for the event that we have for our company coming up. Okay? So that is me working with the template. I'm going to go ahead and close this template. Do you want to close document 2? Do you want to save anything? No, I don't want to save anything there. That's my blank document. So, of course, we have our blank document here. I'm going to touch on the overall interface of my blank document. So we have talked a little bit about the ribbon. Ribbon divided up into tabs. Tabs divided up into groups. These are my groups. Very important for me to know this and understand it, because anytime I go into the help menu, where's my help menu? There's my question mark over there. Go into the help menu and type out a question. How do I do A, B, C, D? The instructions that I will get will direct me to the particular function that I'm looking for based on ribbon, tab, tab, group. So from the ribbon, go to this tab. From the tab, go to this group, right? So it would be so difficult for us to find all the different functions here without those demarcations in between each of the the groups. Okay, so references, mailings, and so forth, those are my different tabs. Above the ribbon, I have what we call my quick access toolbar. The one thing that I encourage you to do, anytime you are not sure as to what something is, what is this thing called? Well, I don't know. Hover over it. So it gives me what we call a screen tip. There's my screen tip there saying customize quick access toolbar. So that is a screen tip. What is this thing here? It says compare. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Hover over it. So I get a screen tip there saying compare or combine multiple versions of a document. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. But now that I hovered over my particular function, hovered over that icon, I was able to get a screen tip. So the screen tips are very, very helpful. They will help me figure out which ones are the shortcut keys for making something bold. So I hover over that, and it gives me the word bold, gives me a description, make the selected text bold. It also gives me something in brackets. What is that in brackets there? That is my shortcut key. Oh, okay. Do I have a shortcut key for this guy here? Yes, I do. Anything in brackets is my shortcut key. How about for my help menu? Do I have a shortcut key for that? Anything in brackets, F1. So F1 is my shortcut key. How about spell check? Do I have a shortcut key for spell check? Oh, F7. I always get confused between F7 and F1. But now, because I understand what a screen tip is, what a screen tip can do, I'm able to get those shortcut keys accurate every time I use them. Okay, so that is my interface. We looked at the ribbon. We've looked at the quick access toolbar. And what we're now going to look at is how do I customize my quick access toolbar. Right now I have a couple of functions here. I have that little floppy disk, the purple one. Control S. Oh, that's a shortcut key for saving. I didn't know that. How about that little arrow? Undo, my favorite button. Well, not really. Some of us, we have that as our favorite button. So we're like, okay, cool. How do I undo? I'm always undoing. Well, how about you use the shortcut key Control Z? How do I know that's the shortcut key? I hovered over it, looked at the screen tip. Everything in brackets in a screen tip is a shortcut key. Okay, how do I customize this? I always use these functions. So quick access toolbar just means I can access it quickly. What if I always love to view my document before I print it? How is my document going to look when it is printed out? So how about I toggle on my print preview? Print preview and print, so I'll click that. I'm customizing my quick access toolbar. So now I'll click that print preview. Oh, this is what's going to happen when I print. If I print, I get a blank document, okay, because nothing is on the document yet. But again, what I'm showing you is how to customize the quick access toolbar. So what if the function that I want is actually not listed here? So there's one particular function that I love to do, not listed here. How do I get to it? More commands. Anytime you see those 3 dots there, that just means it's going to pull up a dialog box. We get to the word options dialog box. I can customize my quick access toolbar. I work with a lot of documents that have all these unique names, account names for the different companies that we deal with internationally. So we have all these unique company names, written out maybe in German or something like that. I want to be able to find. I normally find a lot of stuff, a lot of text within my document. So I want to customize my quick access toolbar so that the find option is in my quick access toolbar. When I click the drop-down menu, the find option was not available. How do I make it available? By customizing my quick access toolbar. So I'll click find and add it. Where am I adding it to? I'm adding it to my quick access toolbar. What I have presently is save, undo, redo, and recently print, preview, and print. So I'm going to add the find option. Then OK. Notice how I have the binoculars there. That's my find option, Control F. Okay, so if I were to click this, I get a navigation pane on the left-hand side of my document. I can then type out that unique name that I'm searching for in my document. It will appear highlighted yellow for every occurrence of that word that I'm looking for. Okay? So that was me customizing my quick access toolbar. I'm going to close my navigation pane on the left. I don't want to see that. There are some documents, like the one that I will pull up in 2 seconds. So I'm going to switch windows right now from this window to the Word Practice L2 window. So there's 2 documents here that I've opened up in Word. So I'm going to go up to the View tab in my ribbon, click Switch Windows. Notice the check mark is next to the document 1. I'm going to go to document 2. I have switched windows. I've opened up a different document, and this document is my Word Practice Level 1, Level 2 document, and it is called Books and Beyond. I'm looking at this document. I really want to just focus on reading this document. I'm not really focusing on editing the document. So since that's the case, do I need my ribbon? Because my ribbon allows me to modify my document, right? I can make something bold, I can italicize something, I can change the font, I can change the size of the font and so forth, right? I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm interested in reading this Books and Beyond, this article. So I don't need my ribbon. How do I change or how do I hide my ribbon? If you notice, next to your question mark, you have that little arrow facing upwards. Minimize the ribbon. Oh, okay. This screen tip thing is coming in handy. Anytime I don't know what something is, I hover over it. It gives me a screen tip, gives me a hint as to what it is. So I'm going to click that arrow and see what happens. Oh, look at that. It actually did minimize my ribbon, just like the screen tip said. Okay, so if I wanted to pull my ribbon back up again, in other words, expand my ribbon from its collapsed position, I'm going to click that arrow again. Now my ribbon is back up there. I also have the option of right-clicking any one of the tabs. I get a drop-down menu here that says minimize the ribbon, so I can click that to minimize my ribbon. When your ribbon is minimized, if you click a certain tab, your ribbon will open up, but the moment you click within the document, the ribbon disappears. So I did say we can have our ribbon showing by using the arrow. Option number 2, I can double-click any one of those tabs. So I've double-clicked the tab. Now my ribbon is back again. It is active. Okay, so that is showing and hiding my ribbon. So let's look at this document that I've pulled up here. I want to introduce to you styles. What are styles? So you can actually create styles in your document where you have a word being a certain style, like Books and Beyond. Is there any style applied to this? If I click this, notice how I have heading 1 highlighted in my styles group. If I click, what is Books and Beyond? Oh, look at that. This is not heading 1. This one is heading 2. How about this? Does this have any style applied to it? So I click that. I get the normal style. So everything that you insert or everything that you type into your article, your report, your document, whatever it is that you're typing out, has that capability of having a style applied to it. What are the advantages of applying a style to the different text or the different font in my document? When I look at my document, it looks pretty plain and boring, right? How would I modify this? I'll probably change the color of this, right? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to save a different version here. File, save as. I'm going to save this. So this one was Word Practice L2. I'm going to save this as Word Practice L2 Webinar. So my caps lock is on there. That's why I'm getting that. Where am I saving it? I'm saving it onto the desktop. I'll click Save. So now I have 2 versions of that. So I have this one, which has the word webinar at the end, and then I have this one, which is just Word Practice L2. So now I have both documents opened. How do I know I have both documents opened? In the View tab, Switch window shows me I have document 1, Word Practice L2, and Word Practice L2 Webinar. Okay, so I'm going to go to this document, which is what's on right now, and I'm going to change this to look like a heading. So I'll select the heading, change it to maybe a red color. I just want it to be emphasized. Let's make it maroon, and underline it. And go to this one as well, red. I don't want to italicize it. Underline it. My document is taking shape. I want all my headings to look like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a feature called Format Painter, where I can copy the format from this. So by format, I mean the size of this text, the color of the text, and the formatting that has been done to the slide. So I'm really interested in this, having every single heading look like this one. But I don't want to have to go to each one and go to the font color, go to underline, go to bold. It would just be tedious with all this here, right? So what I'll do is I'll use Format Painter, which allows me to select that. There's Format Painter, that little yellow bristles paintbrush. Format Painter, also Control Shift and C. So I'll double click it. Upon double clicking it, I will look at my status bar because I'm not too sure what I should do next. What does my status bar say? Use the mouse to apply the previously copied formatting onto another text. Ah, okay. So I can take this format that I like and apply it to this. Oh, look at that. And apply it to this. And apply it to that. So to every heading, I can apply that type of format. That's the end of my document. Let's look at my print preview. So there's my print preview. My document is taking shape. So I have this as page 1, this is page 2, this as page 3. Okay? So let's backtrack a little bit. The reason I did this is because I wanted all my headings to look alike, right? But the question is, did I have any styles applied to the heading? So in my case here, I did have styles applied to this heading. This one was heading 1. This one, heading 2, right? So let's go back to the previous document. So I'll go to View, Switch Window, go back to this one. This is where we started off, right? Each one of these has a style. And of course, let me just let you know how we create a style for this. So all you do is select. So in this case, I'm just going to select Good Book and apply a style to it. The style is going to be heading 2. Notice how when I apply heading 2, everything that looks like that in that one paragraph changes to take that style. Subtle reference. So subtle reference, because a reference is always a portion of the paragraph, only a portion of the paragraph changes. So Good Book, let me reference it subtly. So you have the subtle reference, you have the intense quote, you have the intense reference, and so forth. There's all these different styles that you have there. I'm just going to use subtle reference. Books and Beyond, I'm not liking the fact that it's not centered across my page. I'm going to center it. But notice something. When I select anything in Word, I get a ghost image of what we call a mini toolbar. So the mini toolbar is very similar to this toolbar up on top in the font group, but it has the commonly used features. Like, hey, Tabani, do you want to change the size of the font? Do you want to change the type of font? Do you want to make it centered? Yes, I do. Does it have a shortcut key? Watch that. Okay, so there we go. I've centered this. How did I center it? By using my mini toolbar. So I can apply formatting using the mini toolbar. So you might be sitting there going, where did that mini toolbar go to? After you apply a format, the mini toolbar disappears. The mini toolbar appears right after you select something. Books and beyond, notice my mini toolbar. If I click out here, my mini toolbar is gone. If I select this, my mini toolbar appears. I go out somewhere here, my mini toolbar is gone. So only when you hover over it, it appears. If you click something else, the mini toolbar is gone. Okay, so advantages of applying a style. So remember, how do I apply a style to a certain phrase or text? By selecting it and then applying the style in the styles group. What are the advantages of doing this? Remember, I do have styles here. It just looks bold, but in actual fact, if you go there, you can see that style is heading 1. This style is heading 2. What are the advantages of this? In the styles group again, you notice where it says change styles. What if I were to change the theme of this document or the style of this document? Notice you have set style. Okay, what would happen if I changed it to distinctive? Notice how my styles change for my heading. Elegant. Ooh, look at that. Now my heading 1 is a darker blue. My heading 2 is a lighter blue. So that style has been carried on to my document. So I'll click that. I'll click elegant just to see how it looks. This is how my document looks. So obviously this is probably a different style. Let's see what it is. So this is just normal. Okay? Easy listening. That is just normal. So it's just been made bold, but no style has been applied. So if you did want it to change, when you change the styles, you need to apply styles to that. Okay, so you have fancy. Look at fancy. Normal. Manuscript. Modern. There's so many different styles there that we can apply. So I'm just going to pick formal. Now let's look at my print screen. My print screen. What is my document going to look like? So my document will look like that. This is page 1 of 4, page 2 of 4. Each one of those headings has a different style applied to it. So looking at this, which one would you rather do? Apply styles or actually manually change each one of those headings to something bold, something italicized, and so forth? So definitely this is the way to go, because if my team says, hey, Tabani, you know what? We didn't quite like the way you made Books and Beyond maroon. Why didn't you pick something else? I can just go away. Just give me a second. I'll pick something right away. So I can pick a different style. Okay? So all those are different styles there. So I'll pick this style now. I'll change this to modern. Everyone in the team, my colleagues, like this style. This is actually pretty cool. But is it possible to leave the style as is, but change the color of the style? Most definitely. So you can change the color of the style. So there's different combinations there. Grayscale, adjacency, angles, apex, and so forth. There's all these different color combinations. So I'm going to make it loud, aspect, unforgettable. Okay, so there we go. And maybe I'll make this orange so I can change that font color to an orange color, something like that. Okay, so I'll stick to that. So I was able to apply styles based on the understanding of, hey, this is a gallery of all the styles that I have, so I can apply any style that I want there. Okay, so let's keep moving on. My how would I apply my how would I apply formatting to this paragraph? So I do have this paragraph. Have you ever wanted to spend some quiet time, blah, blah, blah? That's my paragraph. Can I apply certain formatting to this? Let me pull up a dialog box, the paragraph dialog box. How about that? How do I pull up dialog boxes in Word? Notice these little arrows here. This will pull up the font dialog box, paragraph dialog box. So if I click that, it gives me a dialog box where I can change the spacing for my text. Right now, the line spacing I have is multiple. Spacing before and after, 10 points, 10 points. Let me change it to single. Let's see what happens. I'll change this to 0. Change that to 0. Look at the background here. Okay. Notice how that has been shrunk just a tad bit because now the spacing on my paragraph has been defined. Okay. So there's so many things that you can do to modify your paragraph. You can add borders to it. Okay. So you can add a border to your paragraph. Apply to paragraph. I want a box border around my paragraph. Click OK. Notice how my paragraph has a border. I'm going to undo and apply a different type of border. Let me try a different type of border. So I'm still in borders, paragraph. I want to add some emphasis to my paragraph, but I don't want the border to go all around the paragraph. How about it goes on the right and on the left? Not bad. I don't want it to be black. Can I change the color? Because my theme right now is orange, right? So how about I make it orange? Okay, there's my color. For my border, I'm specifying a color for my paragraph border. How about I have a double line? I'm getting creative here. Don't forget your color. There we go. That, and okay. Notice how my paragraph now appears with that format where I've just created a format, applied a format just for the paragraph, not for everything else, just the paragraph. Add some emphasis to that. So there's so many other different features that you can add there, like things like drop caps. How about I drop that first initial capital letter? So my report, my document, is definitely taking shape. Okay? And lastly, before we call it a session, bulleting and numbering. So I have these two lines here. Now at Books and Beyond, blah, 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 and then the second line. Just join us, next line. In this way, blah, 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 can I make this into a numbered list? So you can select your list, apply numbers, 1, 2, 3, or alternatively, apply bullets. Make this a bulleted list. So you have the check marks. You can choose the type of bullet that you want, right? You can even define your own bullet. What if I wanted my company logo to be there? You can get creative with that, okay? So my numbered list, I don't want 1, 2, 3. I want maybe Roman numerals, okay? So you can do that. You can even have multi-level bulleting where you have 1, 1, 1A, 1A1, and so forth. So that is multi-level bulleting. So you'll be using that particular feature there, okay? So we are at 45 minutes now. The whole time I haven't gotten a chance to actually breathe. So I've loaded you with all this information, what we were meant to cover for our outline, creating a document from a template, navigating the Word document, adding, selecting, deleting text, the Backstage View, the ribbon, just an overview of the ribbon, shortcut key tips, those screen tips, remember them? Contextual tabs, formatting using my Mini-Toolbar, font and paragraph dialog boxes, using the style gallery, numbers and bullets, borders and shading, customizing my quick access toolbar. All right. So I'm just checking my chat area here to see if I have any questions here. All right, no question. So if at all you do have any questions, feel free to type them out. Someone will respond to your question. Otherwise, I'm hoping from this point onward, you'll be able to be a little more efficient with your Word application. Alrighty. Thank you for attending the webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day.